like to mix it up. We don't like to have ourselves in the videos all the time. We like to mix it up and get some other guys' opinions now and then. And this gentleman was just saying that he used to have a BSA that looked like this Kawasaki. And that's interesting because
the engine, the pipes, the handlebars,
because
the front end, the tank, everything from a distance, you wouldn't know that my Honda 200, the black Rebel, was a knockoff on a 900 Sportster.
Yep.
In a distance, like from here to over there, the trash can, you would have thought it was a Sportster. And that motherfucker for 9 months, I swear to God, in Riverside, I drove 9 months, 9,000 miles. I never saw another soul on the road.
We're kind of getting off the topic a little bit because this was in 1966. The first W1 was a copy of a BSA 650, I think, some kind of BSA twin.
I had in high school.
You had the original one in high school.
I had a Triumph 750 Bonneville.
Okay. Does this look like a Triumph or a BSA?
BSA. The tank and the engine.
Yep.
The engine, the way it stacks with the fins, the way it comes up with a cone, an inverted cone, right down here at the bottom.
Yep.
The fins, and then there's the header pipes and the knuckle, the exhaust, the tank. The handlebars weren't the same. The handlebars came out more.
Yeah.
On mine, like Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
When he was riding in The Great Escape. Steve McQueen. Yeah. Oh my God, that guy's so badass. He wasn't just handsome. Tumbleweed Jimmy, out of Wind Dance Ranch, Riverside. Take one.
Thanks for interrupting. Yeah. Thanks for interrupting, but yeah, we had to knock this thing out, man. Thanks, Tumbleweed Jimmy.
Yeah, what's your name?
John Burns.
John
Burns. Motorcycle.com. Check us out. We're going to put the video on our website. Hey, we're here at the Orange Depot because my train of thought has jumped the tracks. No, we're back on them now. The W800 from Kawasaki started out as the W1 circa 1966, I believe, which was a copy of a BSA twin. At the time, it was supposed to be the most powerful bike in Japan or somewhere. That later evolved into the W650, which I believe Kawasaki started making at about the turn of the century, 2000 or so. Only imported into the US for a year or two, and it kind of went away. And it kind of became a little bit of a cult bike in the US maybe, but they sold it in the rest of the world. And we've been bugging Kawasaki for a while. How come you don't bring the W800 to the US? Because it'd be perfect for all the retro style bikes that are so in vogue now after the Triumph Bonneville got here and everything. And Kawasaki kept saying, well, we really don't want to do that. And we kept saying, you should bring in the W800, and they finally did, and here it is for 2019. We probably shouldn't have bothered them that much because it's an okay motorcycle, but it looks authentically British, and it probably is the most authentically British of these things. We've kind of gotten used to retro motorcycles that feel like modern ones, and this is a retro motorcycle that feels like a retro motorcycle. On the dyno, it made 45 horsepower at like 6,000 RPM, and it makes maximum torque of like 43 foot-pounds, but not till 47 horsepower. So you kind of have to keep it revved up to get anywhere. It's still not that fast, but it's okay because she's kind of heavy too. She's 501 pounds with 3.7 gallons of gas in the tank, and suspension's kind of softish. Which is nice. She's actually pretty comfortable out on the road, but not much rebound damping. So you have to ride in kind of a mindful way. You have to plan ahead a little bit. The brakes are strong. We got one big disc on front and a disc on back instead of the drum it used to have. So that's better. We've got some authentic British stuff on here. You got the old pea shooter exhaust. You got the parallel twin, 773 cc's now, up from the 640 something of the old 650. Pretty authentically British stuff. The twins speedo and tachometer are kind of old-fashioned looking, but they're kind of modernized and electronic. LED cool headlight and tail light on back of it. We got a slip assist clutch now, which is nice. The whole package is pretty swell and goes pretty well. Yeah, like I was saying, she feels a little bit more retro than some of the other ones, like the new Triumphs do. Probably the biggest way would be the Dunlop K300 18-inch tires it has at both ends. I think it's because they have a center tread that when you're on the freeway, you hit the rain grooves in California. I think they have them in a lot of other places now. it wanders all over the place like you're riding in sand or something, which is a little bit disconcerting, but it's probably easy enough to just get a different set of tires if you like the bike. I think our biggest problem would be that with the invention of more modern retro bikes, the main one I'm thinking of would be the new Triumph Street Twin. When they came out with that one in 2016, it already made a bunch more torque at lower RPM than the Kawasaki does, which means it scoots much better. It weighs 20 or 30 pounds less than the Kawasaki. The Kawasaki sells for $97, $99, and the Street Twin Triumph is $500 or $700 less than that. So the Kawasaki's got a 360-degree crank, and the way it runs is kind of more authentic than a new Triumph is. So the old Japanese bike feels more authentically British than a new British bike does. So if that's what you want, that's cool.
Right on.
But you kind of have to really want that special British flavor. And for $9,800, you could probably buy a classical BSA for that kind of money. Of course, it wouldn't be nearly as reliable as this Kawasaki is, which, like most Kawasaki's, will probably run forever with very little maintenance. Speaking of maintenance, I think the number one thing that might have saved this bike for me, if I was thinking about getting one, was when I learned that it had a bevel drive to drive the camshaft up here. And the first thing I was thinking was like the old bevel drive Ducatis that you see where they put in the glass window there, so you can watch the gears spinning around, the oil splashing around. In fact, the first thing I did when I got this bike home was to take this cover off to see if I could look at the bevels under there. And I was going to check and see if Kawasaki sold an accessory glass window to go on there, and that they don't. Because when you take this off, there's just a second cam cover up under there and you can't see the bevel drive gears. So I think I was kind of disappointed in that. So there's not anything wrong with this bike at all, except for the tires that wander over rain grooves. You can get new tires. Other than that, though, I mean, if you like it, it's a perfectly nice bike. 41mm fork tubes, springy twin shocks on the back. And there's a little bit. There's a little bit of a lean forward to the grips, but it's actually not uncomfortable around town at all. Seat's pretty good here. It's pretty thick right here where you sit, and it's thin, so it's easy to get your feet on the ground too. So I think if this is your cup of tea, I wouldn't talk out of this motorcycle at all. It's an authentic old Japanese copy of an English motorcycle, but there's such good English copies of English motorcycles these days. I might kind of lean toward one of them myself. But you know, if you like the video, go ahead and click the like button up there, and if you don't like it, click the like button anyway. We get paid that way. If you want to read more about the bike, please go over to motorcycle.com, get the full specifications, dyno chart, all that type of thing. Beautiful photography by Evans Brassfield. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Are you kidding me? I'll build a camera. I built I don't need 10 signs.
Por favor, Jimmy. Jimmy, por favor, let us shoot Johnny for a minute, just a minute.